Welcome to Jersey Reads the Classics, an audiobook podcast delving into the finest works of our literary masters. Unfortunately, it's read by this woman.
What the hell? Who cares? Let's go on an adventure.
Hello, and welcome back to Jersey Reads the Classics with your host, me, Rosie D. Candia. All right, my friends, I hope everything is finding you well. I hope you are staying healthy and safe and sane and blessed and all that good stuff. And you know, I keep babbling. So we are going to stop the babbling brook called Rosie, and go back to our book called Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales by the Brothers Grimm. This week's episode, we will be reading The Elves and the Shoemaker. A shoemaker, by no fault of his own, had become so poor that at last he had nothing left but leather for one pair of shoes. So in the evening he cut out the shoes, which he wished to begin to make the next morning. And as he had a good conscience, he lay down quietly in his bed, commended himself to God, and fell asleep. In the morning, after he had said his prayers and was just going to sit down and work, the two shoes stood quite finished on his table. He was astounded and knew not what to say to it. Oh my God, imagine that. It's like leaving your work overnight and then you go into the office and have all your shit's done if you have reports and shit to do. And it's like you go in and you're like, someone's done all my work. Oh, I like that. He took the shoes in his hands to observe them closer, and they were so neatly made that there was not one bad stitch in them. And they do a better job than you too, imagine that. Okay. Just as if they were intended as a masterpiece. Soon after, a buyer came in, and as the shoes pleased him so well, he paid more for them than was customary, and with the money, the shoemaker was able to purchase leather for 2 pairs of shoes. Okay, so someone's doing a better job than he is making shoes. And now he's got a customer who was willing to pay more money than he normally gets, so now he's going to make 2. Oh, we see where this is going. This is going to be, I'm just letting you know it's a short story, but I kind of like it because it packs a punch. So let's go on and I'll stop babbling. He cut them out at night, and next morning was about to set to work with fresh courage. But he had no need to do so, for when he got up, they were already made, and they found buyers who gave him money enough to buy leather for 4 pairs of shoes. Oh, we're just escalating here. So we went from 1 to 2 to 4. Okay, now, okay, shoemaker. I'm getting confused. He ain't the tailor. So somebody's making his shit, and I'd be like, who's making the stuff? I want to know. I want to thank this person. And they're doing a better job than me. Okay. All right. The following morning, too, he found the 4 pairs made, and so it went on constantly. And what he cut out in the evening was finished by morning, so that he soon had his honest independence again, and at last became a wealthy man. If I were a rich man, now it happened that one evening, not long before Christmas, when the man had been cutting out, he said to his wife before going to bed, "What do you think of staying up tonight to see who it is that lends us this helping hand?" Yeah, I mean, this whole time you've gone weeks, months, whatever. Somebody's coming into your place and making your shoes. Wouldn't you be like, I'd like to know who it is, and maybe I can offer them a job, or maybe make them a partner. That's all I'm saying. Okay. The woman liked the idea and lighted a candle, and then they hid themselves in a corner of the room behind some clothes which were hanging up there, and watched. When it was midnight, 2 pretty little naked men came. I'm not even going to touch that one. Okay. Sat down by the shoemaker's table, took all the work which was cut out before them, and began to stitch and sew and hammer so skillfully and so quickly with their little fingers that the shoemaker could not turn away his eyes for astonishment. They did not stop until all was done and stood finished on the table, and they ran quickly away. Oh my God. 2 little naked men come in, and they are making the stuff in quick time, and then they just leave. Next morning, the woman said, "The little men have made us rich, and we really must show that we are grateful for it. They run about so and have nothing on. It must be cold." Oh, they do need clothes. Unless they're nudists. Because, hey, if you're a nudist, you don't care about clothes. I'll tell you what I'll do. I will make them little shirts and coats and vests and trousers, and knit both of them a pair of stockings. And you, too, make them 2 little pair of shoes. The man said, "I shall be very glad to do it." And one night, when everything was ready. They laid their presents all together on the table instead of the cutout leather. Oh, good. They weren't expecting them to make more shoes and then get their presents. That was good. And then concealed themselves to see how the little men would behave. At midnight, they came bounding in and wanted to get to work at once. But as they did not find any leather cut out, but only the pretty little articles of clothing, they were at first astonished. Dun, 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 dun. Astonished, color me astonished. And they showed intense delight. They dressed themselves rapidity, putting the pretty clothes on and singing rapidity. Rapidity? They dressed themselves rapidity. Okay, rapidity. I guess it's rapidity. Whatever. Putting the pretty clothes on and singing. Now we are boys so fine to see. We showed no longer cobblers be. Okay. Look at them. They're singing. They're dancing. Then they danced and skipped and leapt over chairs and benches. At last, they danced out the door. From that time forth, they came no more. But as long as the shoemaker lived, all went well with him, and all his undertakings prospered. Oh, I love that. Oh, the end, and so cute. I know it was short, but I gotta tell you something. When I read it for the podcast, I was like, this is a cute story. It is a cute story. Oh, I don't know. Did I smear my lipstick? I can't tell. Let me look before I come back. I didn't smear my lipstick because it's like long stay. Duh. Anyway, the point is this. Love it. Love that the little naked men came in and left out with clothes, but I love they just kept doing their work, kept doing the work. It wasn't even their work, but you see, they made the poor shoemaker wealthy again, because remember they said he got poor, no fault of his own, and he rewarded them. I mean, it took some time, but that's okay. He had to get his business up and going. All right, this story in itself to me is a feel-good story, because what it is what we always talking about. Good rewards good. Here we have the little shoemaker making his shoes. He don't even got enough money. He only can make one pair of shoes. He gets his last thing ready. Him and his wife, he's got his last night ready for his one pair of shoes. And then comes in these two little men, and they do it. And the next day, all of a sudden, luck is bestowed upon him, right? And he's being rewarded. And every night he's preparing the work, but it's getting done. And some can say, well, he's taking advantage of who's ever doing the work in the middle of the night. You know what, though? We don't know what the little old man, the shoemaker, did before, because they said he was a kind guy and he went broke. Not obviously he wasn't poor because of his own self. I mean, the guy was trying to make a living, okay? So the way I look at it is, he was going along in life, doing right, and all of a sudden he got sent a windfall. And we do sometimes get a windfall of luck. His luck with the elves, and then the shoes and customers coming in and all that, but then he rewards them. And then the elves, as quickly as they came in, the little naked men, and got their clothing, and made all the shoes and made him prosperous and wealthy, that's as quick as they leave. Because guess what? They each served a purpose in each other's lives. Aha! And that's just like us. You know, sometimes you're feeling at the bottom of the barrel, like things aren't working out. Could be money, could be relationship, could be friendships, could be anything in your life that you feel is not going right. But then you just sometimes have to surrender and just say, you know what? I surrender, and I'm just going to go about my life and live my life as is. And be the good person I am and trust. And I think that's what we can learn from this. And what happens, we sometimes get sent an opportunity we never thought possible. A new job opportunity. Or someone comes into our life and we weren't looking for a relationship because we had so many bad relationships and we're like, no. But then you meet this person, you become friends, and suddenly, you're in a relationship. Or you're feeling like, I don't really have great friends or whatever. And then suddenly you get involved in something and suddenly you get new friends. The thing is this, my friends, we never know when our windfall of luck is going to come. And windfall of luck, people think, is always just winning the lottery and this. I mean, listen, I play lottery too sometimes. I play the Mega Millions and Powerball, I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I do, and I just keep the ticket on me, and I feel like, imagine if I was holding right now a $100 million ticket, because I got the golden ticket. But that's not the point. The windfall of luck can be in these things I just mentioned, right? Can be a new relationship, a new friendship, a new job, a new opportunity, new things that you never thought possible. So what I would suggest, and what I'm going to encourage you, is to think about the times in your life that you weren't maybe thriving, but then something came in to help you. Now, I will also encourage you to think about the opportunity, the person, the place, the thing, whatever. And then suddenly, as quickly as it came into your life, have you noticed? It leaves. Like, have you ever had a friendship or a relationship that came in your life and you really needed that person? Whether, even if it wasn't just a relationship, just say it was a friendship, and you guys hung out and you guys like were just together all the time. And then suddenly a year, 2, 3 years later, it just dissolves. There was no argument, no problem. It just dissolves. You lose touch. I always think of, well, you were in each other's lives for a reason, for a season. Sometimes it's a lifetime, sometimes it's not. You know that saying, a reason, a season, a lifetime. Like the elves, like the elves, that person, that job comes into your life to help you, to help you at that moment and serve its purpose. And there are many things that do that. So I'm just going to encourage you to think about all the things that you have reaped in the times where you felt like things haven't worked out. Because I do think it's important for us to notice the little things. See, the problem is this. We think everything large, and I won this lottery, I got a brand new car. We think that's all the windfall of luck, or we think that's when we're thriving. But when you start paying attention to the little things, like, oh my God, this new person just came to my life. I really enjoy the friendship. Or I got this new opportunity. I never thought I'd be doing something like this, but this really is something exciting for me. So instead of thinking everything that, like a car, a house, a this and that and all that, like we always think, we put that as, that's the windfall of luck. That's the barometer of success. That's what was a big gift. No, the gifts are the new friendships you make, the new job, the new opportunity, the new situation, a new hobby you started that you suddenly love. Those are the gifts. And if you start to pay attention to the little gifts every day, what happens? You're focusing on all this good and all this great stuff. And you're like, wow, thank you, universe. Thank you, spirit, or just whatever. How lucky am I? What happens? You start living in that place that you're lucky. Remember Hans and Luck? He start living in that place of, you know what? I'm being provided for. I'm being provided for. And then guess what? The bigger things that you're not worrying about, that you don't have, will come to you without even worrying. And it's, for me, I also don't want to make this all about manifesting big things. It's not about that. It's about keeping yourself happy and healthy and having your peace, but also working on yourself and finding the joy within. So when I talk about manifesting the bigger things, but being grateful for the smaller things, at the end of the day, life is a blink of the eye. It's just moving so quickly, especially now. I mean, especially what's going on in the world. We can't deny it with COVID, the pandemic, everything. Everything is just moving. And even though we're feeling like life is stagnant, time is still going. And we do know time is a human construct, but we're not going to get into the science of it because I don't even understand the science of it. But what you do with this time that you have right now, which is fleeing, is what's important. And I think what's important is finding right now, what are your priorities? And the priorities in life, when the shit hits the fan and everything around us, like now, falls to shit, and the external don't look so good, now is a great time to get good with yourself. So I think these timely messages, and the reason I've chosen to do these books, and I said it once before, is because I did not choose it. Spirit is telling me to do this. I'm very much into spirit. You don't have to be. It's not about that. But I'm compelled to do this because for me, I am a person of service. And this also is helping me. But I think especially, I've been wanting to do this project, and I started it my thing premiered right when COVID hit, when we had to go into lockdown. But I planned this, obviously, and I've talked about it before, around almost a year ago, right? Yeah. And the thing is this. It came to me when it's supposed to, so I can help who's ever watching as well as myself, because it gives me something to do during my days, right? And it also lets me use my creative outlet, and it also gets me to share and talk and hopefully inspire others as I hopefully, motivate myself as well. So we do not know, and I'm very grateful for it. That's the point. We do not know the things that we have already that are there to serve us, that are bringing us to joy. So the more we focus on the things that bring us joy, what happens is we live in a joy-filled state. So while we're living in a joy-filled state and we're doing whatever we can do to further ourselves externally, because we're not just going to sit in our house and be like, Om Shanti Shanti, it's all going to come to me. No, we still do our work. What happens though You're not focusing on the things that aren't coming to you yet, and not being like, oh God, nothing's happening with my life. You're focusing on what you're doing right now. And I just want to encourage you to sit down if you can and think about it. I've done this before, and let's do it again, because you can never have too much gratitude and appreciation. What has happened in the past 6 months that you can focus on that was good? A better relationship with your parents, a better relationship with your children, better relationship with your spouse. Maybe you're working from home, so it allows you to have more time to be with your family. You don't have to commute. Or, you know what? It's altered where you no longer have that job, but now you can pay attention and start your own business online, or do something else you've been wanting to do because now you have the time to do it. Because time, everybody's always saying, if I only had some time. So I'd like you to sit, and I encourage you to sit there and think about what good things have come about. Because I think when we focus on that, everything else is not, they don't play the big part in our life, and we don't sit there thinking the lack. So I think with that, short story, but you know me, I go on forever. Know your worth. Know your, know your worth. You should always know your worth. What am I saying? Always know your worth, have self-love, but also be grateful for the little things, knowing that people, places, things, all that stuff is coming to you, or has come to you to serve its purpose. But also at the end of the day, be grateful for it. And one good turn deserves another. The shoemaker and his wife made beautiful outfits for the little naked men. They got clothed and left, and each person walked away feeling blessed, happy, and prosperous in their own way. So that's how I'm going to end it. So I'm wishing you a magical, lovely, beautiful day full of prosperity. Prosperity in your heart, your life, your love, your beingness, abundance, joy, peace, self-love, self-worth, all that good stuff, sending you tons of light and love. And knowing that right here, right now, you know what? You are enough, and you are worthy, and you are loved. And until we read again, adieu.